Welcome to the White Donkey's CommentCast.
Ever get that feeling? Like you're just scrolling and scrolling, and then, bam, your favorite influencer is suddenly like, oh my God, you have to try this thing. And suddenly, you're picturing yourself with that new gadget.
Yeah.
Or like rocking that outfit. But then that little voice pops up.
Yeah.
You know one. It asks, wait, can I actually trust this?
That's a good question.
Yeah. And that is exactly what we're diving into today. Influencers.
Okay.
And like how to figure out if you can trust them. Especially when like sponsored content is everywhere you look these days.
Well, and the thing is, it's not even just a few Instagram posts here and there anymore. This is like a massive global market.
Surreal.
Like we're talking billions of dollars. I think Statista said that in 2021, influencer marketing hit $13.8 billion.
Whoa. $13.8 billion. That's insane. So brands are definitely seeing like real results from this. It's not just for fun at this point.
You know, they're not just throwing money around for no reason.
Right.
It works.
Yeah.
And it works because it taps into something that traditional advertising just can't replicate. Authenticity.
Okay.
Think about the influencers you follow. You connect with them on some level, right?
I guess.
You see their posts, you get a sense of their values, you trust their judgment at least a little.
Yeah.
So brands are basically trying to bottle that trust
Interesting.
and turn it into sales.
So it's not just about reaching a big audience. It's about reaching the right audience.
Exactly.
The people who already like and trust that influencer.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, that makes sense.
Right.
But also, it kind of muddies the water even more when it comes to like, trust.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because if a brand is basically buying an endorsement, like how do you know? How do you really know that the influencer actually likes the product? And they're not just saying that because they're getting paid.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question right there.
Right.
And it's tricky because there are so many ways for influencers to make money these days.
Okay, so how does it work? Let's break it down.
All right.
So we've got your classic sponsored post. Sometimes those are super obvious.
Yeah.
Like there's a big hashtag ad or hashtag sponsored right there in your face.
Right out in the open.
Yeah, exactly. But other times it's a lot more subtle. You might not even realize it's an ad until you like click a few links or something.
And that's where those FTC guidelines come into play. Because in a lot of places now, it's not just a good idea to be transparent about those financial relationships. It's the law.
Interesting. So even if an influencer genuinely loves a product, they still got to tell you if they're getting paid to talk about it.
Exactly. Full transparency.
Gotcha.
But then you've got things like affiliate links, which can get even murkier.
So affiliate links?
Yeah, have you ever like clicked on a discount code in an influencer's bio?
Oh my gosh, yes, all the time.
Right.
Always looking for a deal.
Exactly. Well, with those affiliate links, the influencer gets a cut of every sale they drive to that website.
So they get paid even if they don't explicitly say, hey, go buy this.
Exactly.
Oh.
It could be a flat fee per click or a percentage of the sale. But the point is, the more people buy through their link, the more money they make.
Right.
So even if they're just a little bit on the fence about a product, there's a big financial incentive for them to downplay any doubts and just promote it anyway.
So even when an influencer is being upfront about getting paid, it still comes down to whether you actually believe them or not.
100%.
Right. Do they actually use the product in their day-to-day life? Do their values actually align with the brand? Those are big questions.
They're huge. And that's where things get even more complicated when you start talking about brand ambassadorships.
Okay.
These are those long-term partnerships where an influencer basically becomes the face of a brand.
Right, like athletes repping Nike or whatever.
Exactly. Or like a beauty influencer who's always using a certain makeup brand.
Yeah.
And when it's done well, it feels like such a natural extension of the influencer's own brand.
Right.
But it also makes it really hard to tell, where does the genuine enthusiasm end? And where does the carefully crafted marketing strategy begin?
That's so true.
And then you have the really subtle stuff like product placement.
Oh, yeah.
Like imagine your favorite gamer is streaming and they just casually take a sip from a can of Red Bull. Or a fashion blogger is traveling and they're always using away luggage. It's not an overt ad,
Right.
but it still plants a seed.
Yeah. It kind of makes you wonder, are influencers even aware of the influence they have? And like, how much of what we see online is just a carefully curated facade?
Exactly. And all of this brings up some important questions about trust. Because when influencer trust goes wrong, it can go really, really wrong.
And there's no better example of that Then the infamous Fire Festival.
Oh man, Fire Festival. What a mess. Like, you had huge influencers, Kendall Jenner, Bella Hadid, all these people promoting it like it was going to be this luxury music festival in the Bahamas.
Right. And instead of luxury villas and gourmet meals, people showed up to like...
FEMA tents and cheese sandwiches.
Ugh, yikes. What a nightmare. Talk about a letdown.
Right.
It just shows you how influencer marketing can create these totally unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in some cases, be used to just straight up mislead people.
Yeah, and it's not just these big flashy events either.
Right.
Think about all those detox teas and stuff that were all over social media a while back.
Oh yeah, like those appetite-suppressing lollipops too.
Exactly. And a lot of the time, they were being pushed by influencers with zero background in nutrition or medicine. It's so scary. Making all sorts of claims about how effective they were without any real evidence to back it up.
It makes you wonder, like, how many people actually believe those endorsements?
Right.
Especially younger audiences who are still figuring out how to be critical of what they see online.
It's a real concern.
It's not all bad news, right? There are influencers out there who are trying to be more responsible.
Absolutely. Thankfully, there are plenty of influencers who really prioritize transparency and honesty.
Okay, so who are we talking about? Give me some names.
Okay, so one name that consistently comes up is Mark Brownlee. You know him.
MKBHD.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's huge. Especially in the tech world.
Right.
Millions of subscribers.
And for good reason. He's incredibly transparent when it comes to sponsorship.
Like how so?
Like, he clearly labels his sponsored videos. And he explains why he chose to work with that particular brand. And he always gives his honest opinion, even if it's not completely positive.
So it's about being upfront about the sponsorship.
Yeah.
But also not being afraid to call out any flaws.
Exactly.
I like that.
And then you have those beauty influencers.
Yeah.
Who are really good about giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Okay.
Like, they'll tell you if that mascara smudges, or if that foundation doesn't work for their skin type.
Which, let's be real, no product is perfect for everyone.
Exactly.
It's nice to hear someone acknowledge that.
And then there are the influencers who are really selective
Yeah.
about the brands they partner with. So they'll only work with companies that align with their values.
Respect it.
So that might mean promoting sustainable and eco-friendly products. Or maybe they're advocating for mental health awareness, things like that.
So it's not just about what they're saying, it's about what they're doing.
Right.
Putting their money where their mouth is.
100%.
This has been really interesting. But I gotta ask, with all this in mind, how do we navigate this world of influencers and endless product recommendations without getting totally swept up in the hype?
It's a good question.
What are some red flags we should be looking out for?
Well, first and foremost, look for clear and consistent disclosures.
So are they being upfront about their sponsorship?
Exactly.
Oh.
But don't stop there. Look at their track record. Does their messaging seem authentic? Do they genuinely engage with their audience? Or are they just all about pushing products?
So look beyond the perfectly curated photos and the witty captions.
Right. Pay attention to the details.
Gotcha.
And remember, just because an influencer you like recommends something doesn't automatically mean it's right for you. Do your own research, read reviews from other consumers, and trust your gut.
Yeah. If something feels off, it probably is.
Exactly.
Don't be afraid to unfollow. If an influencer's content starts to feel inauthentic,
I completely agree.
you have the power to decide who and what influences your purchasing decisions.
You're in control.
Be a conscious consumer.
And don't be afraid to think for yourself.
Love that. So next time you're scrolling through your feed and you see something an influencer's recommending and you're tempted to buy it, take a second and ask yourself, am I buying into the product or am I buying into the persona? Think about it. Until next time, stay curious and stay critical.
Thanks for tuning in to the White Donkey's CommentCast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to let us know what topics you want to hear next. See you in the next episode.